Michael Carter had returned from the world of the dead, but he was not alive. He was a ghost, a restless soul trapped between two worlds. He could see his family. He could hear their voices. He watched his children play, his wife Sonia struggle with the farm work, and his elderly parents grow weaker. But he could not touch them, could not speak to them, could not hold them. He had come back to help them. But how? The weight of his helplessness was crushing. The wind carried his silent cries, but no one could hear. He had to find a way to provide for his family, even in death. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Michael sat on the old wooden bridge near the highway, just beyond his farm. The wind howled, the sky turned a deep shade of crimson, and the distant lights of passing cars flickered like lost souls. Michael was lost in thought when he saw it. A sleek, black luxury car sped down the highway. The engine roared, and the headlights cut through the twilight. But then, bang! The car jerked violently, the front tire exploding into shreds. It swerved, nearly tipping over, before screeching to a halt. The driver's door swung open, and out stepped a rich, overweight man. He wore a gold chain, a priceless Swiss watch, and held a half-smoked cigar between his fingers. His face twisted in annoyance. "Damn it," he cursed, kicking the flat tire. Michael watched, intrigued. Then, from the nearby field, he saw Clark, a young farmhand who worked on his land, approaching. And that's when Michael had an idea. Michael, still in ghostly form, moved swiftly. Before Clark could reach the stranded man, Michael's spirit surged forward, straight into Clark's body. For a moment, everything blurred. Then, Michael was no longer just a ghost. He felt human again, through Clark. He blinked, feeling Clark's heart beating in his chest, his muscles tensing. He was inside a living person. He stepped forward and called out, "Hey, there. You need some help?" The rich man turned, his face still twisted with irritation. He took a long drag from his cigar and exhaled before replying. "Yeah, name's Calvin. I'm headed to Las Vegas for the weekend. You know how to change a tire?" Michael, through Clark, nodded. "Yeah, but I've got one condition." Calvin raised an eyebrow. "Condition? Are you serious?" Michael smiled. "Listen, it's getting dark. No one else might come by for hours. You don't want to be stuck here, right?" Calvin sighs. "Fine. What's the condition?" Michael leaned in slightly. "When you return from Las Vegas, you have to put a $100 bill in the letterbox outside this farm." Calvin scoffed. "What? Why?" Michael shrugged. "Call it a favor for a favor. Take it or leave it." Calvin hesitated, then sighed. "Fine. Just change the damn tire." Michael, using Clark's hands, quickly changed the tire, tightening the bolts with ease. Calvin flicked his cigar into the dirt and stepped back. "Not bad, kid." Michael, still inside Clark, just nodded. Calvin climbed into his car, revved the engine, and sped away toward Las Vegas. Michael stepped out of Clark's body, feeling a rush of cold air as his spirit separated. Clark, now himself again, stood there for a moment, looking confused. He rubbed his head, mumbled something, and then simply walked away, completely unaware of what had happened. Michael watched him go. Did it work? Had he just found a way to help his family? For the next 3 days, Michael hovered near the letterbox, watching. Doubt crept in. What if Calvin didn't come back? What if he had just taken advantage of Clark and left? Michael's hope flickered. Maybe this wouldn't work after all. Maybe he would always be useless to his family. But then, a car engine rumbled in the distance. Michael turned. A familiar black luxury car approached. It was Calvin. Calvin pulled over near the farm's entrance. Calvin reached into his wallet, pulled out a $100 bill, and slid it into the rusty Michael's letterbox. But then, he hesitated. He took out a small piece of paper, scribbled something down, and folded it with the money. Then he closed the letterbox, stepped back, and stared at the farm. Michael drew closer to Calvin, peering over his shoulder at the letterbox outside his farm. The letter read, "If it wasn't for this farm, I don't know what I would have done that night. Thank you." Michael felt something stir in his ghostly form. A feeling he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. He had done something. He had made a difference. And this was only the beginning. To be continued.